Have you ever felt your heart beating so fast it feels like it might burst out of your chest? That sensation of your breath becoming shallow, your mind racing with endless thoughts, your muscles tensing up, and that overwhelming feeling that something terrible is about to happen, even when everything around you seems perfectly. For those of us over 60, anxiety can feel like an unwelcome companion that arrived somewhere along our journey through life and decided to stay. Perhaps it started as occasional worry about your health, your loved one, or your financial security. Maybe it began as fleeting moments of unease that you could easily brush aside. But over time, those moments stretched longer, those worries grew deeper, and that sense of unease became more familiar than you ever wanted it. The weight of anxiety can be particularly heavy. After decades of life experience, we might expect to feel more at peace, more secure in who we are and what we know. Yet for many of us, our senior years bring new challenges that can trigger anxiety in ways we never anticipated. Changes in our bodies that we can't control, concerns about becoming dependent on others, worries about being a burden to our family, fears about isolation and loneliness, and the inevitable thoughts about mortality that become more pressing with each passing year. The constant presence of these thoughts can create a storm inside us that others cannot see. We go about our days, smiling at our grandchildren, chatting with neighbors, organizing our homes, all while carrying this invisible weight that makes each of these simple activities require so much more energy than they should. And the physical symptoms that accompany this mental burden can be frightening in themselves. The racing heart that makes us wonder if we're having a cardiac event, the shortness of breath that feels like we can't get enough air, the tension headaches that won't go away with any amount of pain medication, the digestive issues that doctors can find no physical cause for, the sleep disturbances that leave us exhausted, yet somehow still unable to rest the following night. What makes anxiety particularly challenging for those of us in our 60s, 70s, and beyond is that it often goes unrecognized and untreated. We come from generations that were taught to be stoic, to handle our problems privately, to avoid burdening others with our troubles. We may have been raised to believe that mental health challenges are signs of weakness or character flaw, rather than medical conditions deserving of care and treatment. And even when we do recognize our anxiety, we may dismiss it as simply a natural part of aging that we must endure. But what if I told you that there is a simple practice, requiring only 4 minutes of your morning, that could significantly reduce these feelings of anxiety? A technique so straightforward yet so powerful that it has helped thousands of seniors reclaim their sense of calm and enjoy their days with a lighter heart and a clearer mind. A method that doesn't require expensive equipment, complicated instructions, or even leaving your bedroom. This morning breathing routine has been transformative for so many people just like you, who thought they would have to live with anxiety as their constant companion for the rest of their lives. And today, I'm going to share it with you in detail, along with the science that explains why it works so effectively for our unique needs as we age. I want to welcome you with all my heart to this space we're creating together right now. Thank you for being here, for taking this time for yourself, and for having the courage to seek solutions for the anxiety you've been experiencing. It takes tremendous strength to acknowledge when we're struggling and to reach out for support, especially for those of us who grew up in generations where discussing mental health challenges wasn't encouraged. The fact that you're here, listening and open to learning, shows just how committed you are to your well-being, and that commitment is something to be deeply proud of. I want you to know that this is a judgment-free zone, where your experiences and feelings are valid and important. Many people in their 60s and beyond feel that their concerns are dismissed or minimized by others, sometimes even by healthcare professionals, who might attribute various symptoms simply to aging, rather than recognizing anxiety as a real and treatable condition. Here, we understand that anxiety at any age deserves attention and care, and that the wisdom and life experience you've gathered over your decade make your perspective uniquely valuable. I also want to acknowledge that seeking new approaches at this stage of life demonstrates remarkable flexibility and openness to growth. Many people become more set in their ways as they age, but you're showing a willingness to try something new, to learn and adapt, which is a powerful quality at any age. This openness to new possibilities is exactly what makes transformation possible. As we explore this simple yet effective breathing technique together, I invite you to approach it with curiosity rather than skepticism, with patience for yourself as you learn, and with hope for the relief it may bring you. Remember that you've overcome countless challenges throughout your long life, developing resilience and strength along the way. Those same qualities will serve you well as you incorporate this new practice into your routine. Thank you again for joining me today, and for prioritizing your mental well-being. It's never too late to discover new ways to find peace, and I'm honored to be part of your journey toward a calmer, more joyful experience of your senior year. Before we dive into the specific breathing technique that can transform your mornings and set the tone for a less anxious day, I want to take a moment to explain why I'm sharing this particular approach, and what makes it especially effective for those of us in our 60s and beyond. This isn't just another generic relaxation technique or passing wellness trend. What I'm about to share with you is based on decades of research into the physiology of aging, the specific ways anxiety manifests in older adults, and the unique relationship between our breathing patterns and our nervous system as we age. You see, as we get older, our bodies naturally undergo certain changes that can make us more susceptible to anxiety. Our respiratory systems become less efficient, with lung elasticity decreasing and respiratory muscles weakening. These physical changes can lead to shallower breathing, which unfortunately signals danger to our nervous system, triggering what we know as the fight-or-flight response. At the same time, many seniors experience changes in their autonomic nervous system, with the sympathetic branch, responsible for our stress response, becoming more reactive, while the parasympathetic branch, responsible for relaxation, becomes less efficient at bringing us back to a state of calm. This imbalance creates a perfect storm where anxiety can easily take root and flourish. What makes the 4-minute morning breathing routine I'll be sharing so powerful is that it directly addresses these age-related changes, helping to retrain both your breathing patterns and your nervous system. It's not about forcing yourself to just relax or trying to talk yourself out of your anxious thoughts. Instead, it works with your body's natural mechanisms to create physiological changes that automatically lead to a calmer state of mind. This approach is particularly valuable because it empowers you to take an active role in managing your anxiety without dependency on medications that often come with concerning side effects for older adults. It puts the power back in your hands, giving you a tool you can use anywhere, anytime, without cost or complicated instructions. The simplicity of this technique also makes it accessible regardless of your physical limitations or health conditions. Whether you're highly active or have mobility restrictions, whether you're in perfect health or managing chronic conditions, this breathing routine can be adapted to work for your unique situation. In the coming minutes, I'll walk you through not just the how, but also the why of each element of this practice, so you'll understand exactly what's happening in your body and mind as you incorporate this into your morning routine. This knowledge will help you approach the technique with confidence and purpose, knowing that each breath is actively contributing to your well-being in specific, scientifically supported ways. Let me now guide you through the main elements of this transformative 4-minute morning breathing routine that has helped thousands of seniors significantly reduce their anxiety and start their days with a greater sense of calm and control. The beauty of this approach lies in its simplicity, effectiveness, and the fact that it's specifically designed to address the unique physiological and psychological needs of people over 60. First, timing is crucial. This routine should be done immediately upon waking, before you even get out of bed. This specific timing takes advantage of what sleep researchers call the hypnopompic state, that transitional consciousness between sleeping and wakefulness. During this state, your brain is more receptive to new patterns, and less likely to engage in the habitual worried thinking that often characterizes anxiety. For older adults who frequently experience anxiety upon waking, this timing is particularly beneficial as it interrupts the anxiety cycle before it can gain momentum. Second, positioning matters significantly. You'll want to lie on your back with your head slightly elevated, perhaps with a small pillow, and your arms resting comfortably at your sides with palms facing upward. This specific position optimizes lung expansion, which becomes increasingly important as we age and naturally lose some lung elasticity. The slight elevation of the head helps prevent acid reflux during the deep breathing, which can be a concern for many seniors, while the open palm position creates a subtle psychological effect of receptivity and letting go. Third, the breathing pattern itself is carefully calibrated for older adults. Unlike many breathing techniques that might feel overwhelming or uncomfortable for seniors, this one uses a gentle 4-4-6 rhythm, inhaling for a count of 4, holding briefly for a count of 4, and exhaling slowly for a count of 6. This ratio emphasizes the exhalation phase, which specifically activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the calming branch that tends to become less responsive as we age. The counts are moderate enough to be comfortable even for those with some respiratory limitations. Fourth, attention placement is a key component that distinguishes this technique. As you breathe, you'll place your attention on 3 specific areas in sequence. During the inhale, focus on the sensation of air entering your nostrils. During the hold, bring awareness to the gentle expansion of your lower ribs. And during the exhale, focus on the feeling of warmth in your abdomen. This sequential attention placement helps interrupt the cycling anxious thoughts by giving your mind a concrete, immediate focus. Fifth, the progression of the practice follows a specific pattern over the 4 minutes. You'll start with just 3 breath cycles at the established rhythm, then pause for a moment to notice any changes in your body, then complete 4 cycles, pause again, and finally complete 5 cycles to finish the practice. This incremental approach prevents any sense of respiratory strain or stress, which is especially important for seniors who may have respiratory issues or cardiovascular concerns. These 5 elements work together synergistically to create a practice that's far more effective than the sum of its parts. By addressing both the physiological aspects of anxiety through controlled breathing and the psychological aspects through focused attention, this 4-minute routine creates a comprehensive reset for your nervous system each morning. Most importantly, the effects of this practice extend far beyond those initial 4 minutes. Regular practitioners report feeling more resilient in the face of stressful situations throughout the day, experiencing fewer physical symptoms of anxiety, and regaining a sense of control over their emotional state that many had thought was permanently lost to age or circumstance. I need to pause here and ask you something important. What time of day does anxiety usually hit you the hardest? You know, each person feels anxiety uniquely, and sharing this experience can be the first step to understanding it better. I know you may have never talked about this with anyone, but maybe you think no one would understand, or that your feelings aren't important enough, but I want you to know that here, in this space, your experience matters deeply. Leave us a comment below completing the sentence. My anxiety usually appears when. Your courage in sharing might be exactly what another person needs to read today to feel less alone. And in upcoming videos, we'll address specifically those moments you share. This is a community of mutual support, where every word of yours is welcomed with respect and understanding. Perhaps your anxiety peaks in the early morning hours when you first open your eyes, and thoughts of the day ahead come flooding in. Or maybe it's those evening hours when the busyness of the day subsides and the quiet gives space for worries to grow louder. For some, it might be during social situations when you worry about saying the wrong thing or being judged. For others, it might be when you're completely alone with no distractions from your thoughts. Some of you might experience your most intense anxiety when thinking about your health, while others might feel it most strongly when considering financial matters or family relationships. Understanding these patterns is incredibly valuable, not just for you individually as you work to manage your anxiety, but for our entire community as we learn from each other's experience. When you share your specific anxiety triggers, you help create a map of common experiences that can guide others who might be feeling lost or alone in their struggles. Your comment might be exactly what gives someone else the words to describe what they've been feeling but couldn't articulate. And sometimes, just seeing that others experience anxiety in similar situations can provide tremendous relief, a confirmation that you're not overreacting or imagining things, but having a very real and valid response that many others understand. So please, take a moment to reflect on when your anxiety tends to be at its strongest, and share that with our community in the comments. Remember that by opening up about your experience, you're not only taking a step toward your own healing, but potentially helping countless others who will read your words and find comfort in knowing they're not alone. Now let's explore the practical application of this 4-minute breathing routine in more detail, along with additional strategies that can enhance its effectiveness for seniors experiencing anxiety. I want to ensure you have all the tools you need to make this practice work optimally for your unique situation. First, let's talk about creating the ideal environment for your morning breathing practice. While this technique can technically be done anywhere, optimizing your environment can significantly enhance its effectiveness. Consider keeping your bedroom at a slightly cool temperature, as research shows this promotes better sleep quality and makes the transition to wakefulness more gradual, which helps maintain that receptive hypnopompic state I mentioned earlier. If possible, minimize external noises or use a white noise machine if you live in a noisy environment. Some seniors find that wearing light earplugs during this practice helps them maintain focus on their breathing without distraction. Lighting is also important. Natural dawn light is ideal, but if you wake before sunrise or in a room without good natural light, consider using a sunrise alarm clock that gradually increases light levels to mimic dawn, which helps regulate your circadian rhythm and can reduce morning anxiety. Second, addressing physical comfort is essential for seniors to benefit fully from this practice. If lying flat causes discomfort due to arthritis, acid reflux, or other conditions, try adjusting your position with supportive pillows under your knees, neck, or lower back. Some practitioners find that a specially designed wedge pillow provides the perfect elevation. If you use supplemental oxygen, continue to use it during this practice, simply focusing on the rhythm of your breathing rather than the depth. For those with tremors or Parkinson's symptoms, which can sometimes worsen with anxiety, placing a light-weighted blanket over your body, but not your chest, can provide a grounding sensation that enhances the calming effect. Third, let's discuss how to track your progress effectively. Many seniors find it helpful to keep a simple anxiety journal, rating their anxiety levels on a scale of 1 to 10, both before and after the breathing practice. as well as later in the day. This concrete record not only helps you observe patterns and improvements, but also provides motivation as you see your numbers gradually decrease over weeks of practice. Some prefer using a voice memo instead of writing, simply speaking their observations into a recording device. Others use a simple chart with colored stickers representing different anxiety levels, which provides a visual representation of improvement over time. Fourth, consistency is key to experiencing the full benefits of this technique, so developing strategies to maintain your practice is crucial. Consider pairing this breathing routine with another established morning habit, such as taking medications, to help cement it in your routine. Some seniors find it helpful to set a gentle alarm specifically for this practice, or to ask a spouse or partner to provide a reminder. Others place a note or specific object by their bedside as a visual cue. Scheduling weekly check-ins with a friend who is also practicing this technique can provide accountability and support. Fifth, for those who experience more severe anxiety, this breathing technique can be effectively combined with other approaches. Working with a therapist who specializes in cognitive behavioral therapy for older adults can help address the thought patterns that accompany anxiety. Some seniors find that using essential oils with calming properties, such as lavender or chamomile, enhances their breathing practice. Others benefit from listening to specifically designed binaural beats during their practice, which are sound patterns that help entrain the brain to calmer states. For those whose anxiety has a strong physical component, speaking with your doctor about whether gentle anti-inflammatory supplements might be appropriate can be helpful, as research increasingly shows connections between inflammation and anxiety disorders. Sixth, adapting this technique for various health conditions requires some specialized approaches. If you have COPD or other respiratory limitations, focus more on the quality of your breathing than strictly adhering to the counts, perhaps using a 3-3-4 pattern instead if that feels more comfortable. Those with cardiovascular concerns should begin very gradually, perhaps starting with just 2 minutes, rather than the full 4. If you experience dizziness, which can be a concern for seniors with blood pressure fluctuations, practice this technique in a semi-reclined position, rather than lying flat. For those with cognitive impairments, having a recorded version of the instructions to play each morning can help maintain the practice without needing to remember the steps. These practical considerations can help you personalize this breathing technique to your specific needs and circumstances, maximizing its benefits while ensuring it remains accessible and comfortable regardless of your health status or limitations. Let's now explore some specific aspects of anxiety that are particularly relevant for people over 60, and how this breathing technique addresses each of them in unique ways. One of the most common anxiety triggers for seniors is health-related worry, which can quickly spiral into catastrophic thinking. Every new ache or pain, every change in bodily function can trigger thoughts of serious illness or loss of independence. This form of anxiety is especially challenging because, unlike younger people who might worry needlessly about health issues that are statistically unlikely, older adults face legitimate increases in health risks that make these concerns harder to dismiss as irrational. The morning breathing routine helps address health anxiety in several specific ways. Physiologically, it reduces the inflammation markers that often accompany chronic stress, which can actually improve some physical symptoms that might otherwise feed anxiety. Psychologically, it creates a daily experience of having some control over your physical state, which can counterbalance feelings of helplessness about health changes. Additionally, the routine's focus on bodily sensations in a neutral or positive context helps recalibrate your relationship with physical awareness, making it less likely that normal bodily sensations will trigger alarm. Another common anxiety trigger for seniors relates to sleep disturbances, which tend to increase with age due to changes in sleep architecture, increased nighttime awakening, and shifts in circadian rhythm. Poor sleep and anxiety create a vicious cycle, with each worsening the other. The 4-minute morning breathing routine helps break this cycle by providing a buffer between nighttime and daytime states of mind. By engaging the parasympathetic nervous system first thing in the morning, it helps reset the stress response that may have been activated during a restless night. This creates a fresh start, regardless of sleep quality, preventing poor sleep from determining your anxiety level the entire day. Over time, this consistent morning reset can actually improve sleep quality by reducing overall anxiety levels and daytime stress. Financial concerns represent another significant anxiety trigger for many seniors, particularly those on fixed incomes facing rising costs of living and healthcare expenses. The uncertainty about whether savings will last through potentially decades of retirement can create profound anxiety that feels impossible to resolve. While a breathing routine cannot change financial realities, it can dramatically change how the body and mind respond to financial worries. The technique helps deactivate the amygdala, the brain's alarm center that drives much of the physical distress that accompanies financial worry. This allows access to the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for rational problem-solving and planning. Many seniors report that after establishing their morning breathing practice, they find themselves better able to approach financial concerns with clarity rather than panic, making more sound decisions and feeling less overwhelmed by economic uncertainties. Social isolation represents yet another significant anxiety trigger that becomes increasingly common with age, as retirement, loss of peers, mobility limitations, and other factors reduce social connections. The resulting loneliness can create a hypervigilant state where the nervous system, lacking the regulating presence of social interaction, becomes increasingly sensitive and reactive. The breathing technique helps counteract this physiological state of hypervigilance through vagal nerve stimulation, which mimics some of the biological effects of positive social connection. The extended exhalation phase of the breathing pattern specifically activates social engagement pathways in the autonomic nervous system, helping satisfy some of the biological needs for connection, even when social opportunities are limited. This physiological calming can make it easier to reach out and engage socially when opportunities do arise, rather than avoiding them due to anxiety, loss, and grief, which become increasingly common experiences as we age, can also trigger profound anxiety about further losses and changes. The anticipatory anxiety about how we will cope with future losses can sometimes be as distressing as the losses themselves. The morning breathing routine offers a daily anchor of stability amid change and loss. By creating a reliable daily experience of returning to a centered state, it builds confidence in your ability to regulate your emotional experience regardless of external circumstances. Many seniors who practice this technique report feeling more emotionally resilient, with a growing trust in their capacity to face whatever changes may come without being overwhelmed by anxiety about those possibilities. Perhaps the most powerful aspect of this simple morning breathing routine is its ability to address what specialists in geriatric psychology call existential anxiety, the deep questions about meaning, legacy, and mortality that often become more pressing in our later years. Many seniors report that their anxiety isn't always connected to specific external triggers like health or finances, but rather to these fundamental questions about the purpose and value of their lives as they enter their final chapters. What makes this 4-minute breathing practice so transformative is that it works at both the neurological and psychological levels to help address even these most profound forms of anxiety. At the neurological level, the practice helps quiet the default mode network in the brain, which is responsible for the kind of ruminating, self-referential thinking that often characterizes existential anxiety. When this network is less active, we experience a natural shift toward present-moment awareness and away from the narrative about ourselves and our lives that can become a source of suffering. Many seniors report that after several weeks of this practice, they experience spontaneous moments of what some traditions call grace, a sense of being fully present and at peace without the constant evaluation and judgment of their lives that previously drove their anxiety. At the psychological level, the practice creates a daily experience of agency and self-compassion that can profoundly shift how we relate to our aging process. Rather than feeling at the mercy of time and change, this simple act of caring for your nervous system each morning can represent a reclaiming of your ability to influence your experience, even as other aspects of aging may feel beyond your control. This sense of agency, however small it might seem in the context of a 4-minute practice, can create ripple effects throughout your approach to the challenges of aging. The most remarkable revelation for many seniors who commit to this practice is the discovery that anxiety, which may have felt like an inevitable companion to aging, is actually quite responsive to this gentle, consistent intervention. What seemed like a permanent state of being now reveals itself as a physiological pattern that can be transformed. This discovery often leads to a profound shift in perspective about what other aspects of the aging experience might also be more fluid and changeable than previously believed. As one 78-year-old practitioner shared, "After 6 decades of living with what I thought was just how I am, these few minutes each morning have shown me that my nervous system can still learn, still change, still move toward peace. It makes me wonder what other possibilities might still be open to me that I had closed the door on." This potential for continued growth and change, even in our advanced years, may be the most valuable gift this simple practice offers beyond its immediate effects on anxiety. It challenges the narrative of decline that often shapes our expectations of aging and opens the possibility that our final chapters might include not just coping and maintenance, but actual healing and transformation of patterns we may have carried for a lifetime. To complement the breathing technique we've discussed, there are several additional strategies that can work alongside this morning routine to further reduce anxiety throughout your day. These approaches are specifically selected to address the unique challenges that seniors face and can be easily incorporated into your daily life without requiring significant time, expense, or physical exertion. First, mindful hydration can have a surprisingly powerful effect on anxiety levels for older adults. Dehydration, which becomes more common as we age due to decreased thirst sensation and changes in kidney function, can mimic or exacerbate anxiety symptoms. The physical sensations of mild dehydration, including increased heart rate, lightheadedness, and mental fog, can trigger or worsen anxiety, especially for those who are already vigilant about physical symptoms. Try keeping a water bottle with time markings nearby, reminding you to drink regularly throughout the day. Add a squeeze of lemon or a few berries if plain water is unappealing. For those who find it difficult to remember to hydrate, setting gentle reminder alarms or linking hydration to other routine activities like taking medications can be helpful. Second, nature contact, even in very small doses, has been shown to reduce anxiety through multiple physiological pathways. The phytoncides, airborne chemicals, released by trees and plants have been demonstrated to lower cortisol levels and reduce sympathetic nervous system activity, the same stress response targeted by our breathing technique. For seniors with limited mobility, even sitting by a window with a natural view, keeping potted plants, or watching 10 minutes of nature documentary footage daily can provide measurable anxiety reduction. For those able to spend time outdoors, even a short daily period of sitting in a garden or park can significantly extend the calming effects of your morning breathing practice. Third, selective news engagement becomes increasingly important for anxiety management as we age. The 24-hour news cycle, with its emphasis on crisis and threat, can be particularly triggering for seniors who may have more time to consume news and fewer countervailing daily activities that might put concerning events in perspective. Consider designating specific, limited times for news consumption, rather than having it as background throughout your day. Many seniors find that reading print news rather than watching television news reduces the emotional impact while still keeping them informed. Others benefit from services that curate positive news stories to balance the typically negative focus of mainstream sources. Fourth, rhythmic activities that involve bilateral movement, engaging both sides of the body, have been shown to help process anxiety at the neurological level. Simple activities like knitting, gentle swimming with alternating strokes, tai chi, or even rhythmic rocking in a chair engage both hemispheres of the brain in a way that helps process and release anxious energy. These activities can be particularly effective during times of day when you typically experience anxiety, creating a physical outlet for the nervous energy that often accompanies anxious thoughts. Fifth, creating environmental cues for safety can help counteract the hypervigilance that often accompanies chronic anxiety in seniors. Our nervous systems are constantly scanning for signals of threat or safety, and we can intentionally increase safety cues in our surroundings. Consider using weighted blankets or wraps that provide gentle, consistent pressure, similar to being held. Surrounding yourself with familiar scents that have positive associations from earlier in your life can signal safety nervous system. Some seniors benefit from worry stones or other tactile objects that provide a physical focus and grounding when anxiety begins to rise. Sixth, sound therapy can be particularly effective for seniors, as our auditory processing often remains intact and when other senses diminish. Specific sound frequencies, particularly those between 432 Hz and 528 Hz, have been shown to promote parasympathetic nervous system activation, similar to the effects of our breathing. Consider creating a playlist of music in these frequencies. Nature sounds like gentle rainfall or ocean waves, or guided meditations specifically designed for anxiety relief in seniors. Using these sounds during typical high anxiety periods can help maintain the calm state established by your morning breathing practice. If you identified with what we talked about today, and you're looking for natural ways to calm your mind and live with more peace, our channel is a safe space created especially for you. Each week we share simple and effective techniques that have helped thousands of people recover their inner peace. We're together on this journey, and every step you take toward wellness matters. Click the subscribe button below and activate notifications to receive our videos as soon as they're published. Remember, you don't need to face anxiety alone, and small changes can make a big difference in your quality of life. Our approach is specifically designed with the needs of seniors in mind, recognizing that managing anxiety in our 60s, 70s, and beyond presents unique challenges that general anxiety resources often fail to address. The techniques we share are always gentle, accessible, and adaptable to various health conditions and mobility. We understand that your time is valuable, and we focus on practical strategies that can be easily incorporated into your daily routine without requiring significant time commitment or complex instructions. Unlike many wellness channels that seem to target only younger audiences, we create content that reflects the real experiences and concerns of older adults, presented in a clear, unhurried manner that respects your wisdom and life experience. Our community of subscribers includes thousands of seniors who are supporting each other on the journey toward greater peace and well-being. Through comments and shared experiences, many have found not only practical solutions for their anxiety, but also a sense of connection and understanding that can be especially valuable in later years when isolation often becomes a challenge. When you subscribe, you'll receive weekly videos covering a range of anxiety management techniques specifically for seniors, including breathing exercises like the one we discussed today, gentle movement practice that can be done even with limited mobility, nutrition guidance for optimal brain health and mood regulation, sleep improvement strategies that address age-specific challenges, and cognitive approaches to transform anxious thinking patterns. You'll also gain access to our library of previous videos, organized by topic, so you can easily find resources for your specific concern, whether that's health anxiety, grief and loss, financial worries, or other challenges common in senior years. Subscribing is completely free, and it ensures you won't miss any of our upcoming content that could make a significant difference in your daily experience of anxiety. It's a simple step that represents your commitment to your own well-being and your recognition that you deserve to experience these years with greater peace and joy, regardless of external circumstances or past struggles with anxiety. I want to encourage you to engage with our community by giving this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful and sharing it with someone in your life who might benefit from this simple morning routine. Your engagement helps our content reach more people who are searching for natural, effective ways to manage anxiety in their senior years. Many of us grew up in generations where talking about mental health challenges wasn't encouraged, which has left too many seniors suffering in silence, believing that anxiety is just something they have to endure as part of aging. By sharing this video, you help break that silence and spread the message that effective, accessible solutions exist. Every time you engage with our content through likes, shares, and comments, you're not only helping our channel grow, but also strengthening a community where seniors can find understanding and practical support for their anxiety. The algorithm notices these interactions and shows our videos to more people who are looking for exactly this kind of help. Something beautiful happens when our community grows, as more seniors share their experiences and the strategies that have worked for them in the comments section. The collective wisdom that emerges from these exchanges is often as valuable as the content of the videos themselves. Many subscribers have told us that reading about others' journeys with anxiety has helped them feel less alone and more hopeful about their own situation. If you found particular value in the 4-minute breathing technique we discussed today, consider bookmarking this video so you can return to it easily as you begin to implement this practice in your morning routine. In the early days of establishing any new habit, having quick access to guidance and reminders can make the difference between consistency and abandonment. You might also consider watching this video again after practicing the technique for a week or two, as you'll likely notice different aspects of the instruction that become more relevant as you gain experience with the practice. Your engagement with our content helps us understand which topics and techniques are most valuable to our community, which guides our decisions about future videos. If you found this morning routine helpful, your thumbs up signals to us that similar practical, accessible anxiety management strategies would be welcome in future content. Thank you for spending this time with me today, exploring this simple yet powerful approach to reducing anxiety through a mindful morning breathing practice. I truly believe that these 4 minutes each morning could be the beginning of a significant transformation in how you experience your days, regardless of how long anxiety has been your companion. Remember that your nervous system remains adaptable and responsive to positive intervention even in your 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. The patterns of anxiety that may have seemed fixed and permanent can begin to shift with gentle, consistent practice. Be patient and compassionate with yourself as you incorporate this new routine. Some mornings the practice will feel easier and more effective than others, and that variability is completely normal. What matters most is not perfection, but persistence. Showing up for yourself each morning with the intention to begin your day from a place of calm, rather than anxiety. Know that you're not alone on this journey. Thousands of seniors just like you are discovering that anxiety doesn't have to be an inevitable part of aging, that new possibilities for peace and well-being remain open to us at every stage of life. The wisdom you've accumulated throughout your many years, combined with simple, effective practices like the one we've discussed today, creates a powerful foundation for experiencing your senior years with greater ease and joy. I wish you peaceful mornings and days filled with moments of genuine contentment as you move forward. I hope you'll return to our channel for more supportive content designed specifically for seniors navigating the challenges of anxiety. Until next time, may you breathe easily, rest well, and know that each day brings a new opportunity to experience life with a calmer mind and a lighter heart. Your well-being matters, your peace matters, and it's never too late to discover new pathways to both. Take good care of yourself, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon.